Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Elise, where every week or so I like to come here on my little corner of the internet and talk about all things personal finance. And today I want to talk about how it's very possible to manage money in the paycheck so that we are not out here going broke. And it all really starts with succinctly having a plan for that money. We get paid either once a week or twice a week. So having a plan for that money that we're going to stick to kind of stops us from being confused about how we're going to spend our money and frustrated because we may come up short for bills or we don't know what to do with the extra money that sometimes we do have in our paychecks. And in order to have, when anybody has a plan about something, default means that you are being intentional. And believe it or not, we're all stewards in this lifetime. And since we're talking about money, we are stewards of our money. We can either be good, in the middle, or bad, but we are stewards of our money. So this video is gonna talk about like kind of setting up two systems. The first system is divvying up the actual categories of where the money will go, whether it's for bills, funds, things, etc. And then the last part is how it behooves us to set up systems that automatically get that done. Because we can plan all day, but if we don't have things that are automatically set up for us because life is so busy, it may be hard to execute it. So as far as categories are concerned, I have non-negotiables and then I have some negotiables, but those negotiables are really like not part of the starter pack because you have to do the starter pack version first to get practice so that the second part becomes more of a second nature. Of the first four negotiables, the first one is every paycheck needs to have some money allotted to your retirement. And that can be through your 401k, can be through an IRA, can be through a brokerage account, or it can be through like a pension or not the pension, but IRA, 401k, Roth IRA. And that is because we have to take care of our future self now. And we can't make excuses of why we can't do it because when we are in our 60s, 70s, we are not going to be able to do it. And unfortunately, sometimes we are forced in retirement because we get sick or other life events happen. So that is number one. If it's $50, $100, that needs to go number one from your paycheck. The second thing, and not everybody does this, but I'm putting it there. The second thing is tithing. I am a believer and I tithe. And if you're not a believer, then you can skip over this part. The only thing I will say about that is, well, two things. First, tithing is from your gross. So if you make $1,000, but you only get $700 after taxes, tithing is not $70. Tithing is still $100. And then the second thing I'm going to say about it is for those who are believers but are on the cusp, and they haven't really done it or tried it, all I can say is testify that everything that I have given back to the Lord, He has given me back 2-3 times worth, whether it was a raise, whether it was job security, whether it was that I'm able to do certain things that other people aren't able to do financially. It always comes back somehow. I just got a check in the mail for $60. I don't know how, but like, that's all I'm gonna say. I'm not here to convince anybody, but if you're on the cusp, if you don't want to start with 10%, then maybe 1%, or if you just feel like you can't afford it, start with something till you can get there. You know me, I'm always like, do it slow until you can go. So if it's 1% this year, then 2% this year, in 10 years, you'll be at 10%. The third thing that is a non-negotiable is fund money. And I say fund money because if you don't put some fund money in your check, you're gonna burn out and you're gonna be depressed and then you're gonna throw your hands up. So fund money is important because you only have one life to live, and one of my things, I have about three, 4, 5, is that life is for the living. So even if it's $5, if that's all you can squeeze out of your budget to treat yourself to your favorite snack and a soda at the corner store, then that's what you have to do because you have to keep yourself motivated. And then the last negotiable I would say is an emergency fund because you do not know what happens. Maybe the pressure in your tire is going low or your bathroom tub is not draining. Little things like that. Now, if it's $20 in the beginning, $10 in the beginning, till eventually you can get to $100 a month or whatever is comfortable for you to set aside every month, that is there for you so that other plans that you have in your life, you are not taken off the track because an emergency came and it usurps all your goals. Now we're gonna go into things that are negotiables because they're not tantamount 100%. The first non-negotiable I have is setting aside money for taxes. If you are doing any side hustles like Uber, or you have an LLC and you have like a side business that's coming in, you get that money gross. You get that money from people gross. They are not paying taxes on it. And I practice for myself to make sure I set aside money so that when I do my taxes, I have that allotted for if it is needed. Sometimes it's not always needed, but I set aside, I think 20% of any money I make from my side hustles and put it away in a high yield savings account. So I'm not worried about the tax man, because one person you do not want to be messing with you is Uncle Sam. The sixth thing that I think needs to be a bucket in how we're gonna manage our money every paycheck is saving for long-term goals. And long-term goals can be buying a house, saving for a business, or saving for a emergency fund so that you can quit your job and start your business. Things that are like 5 to 10 years out, a home renovation, stuff like that. Allotting that money is important so that when it's time to come, the blow isn't that hard because you've been preparing. And then the last item that I have, number 7, is preparing for a short-term money goal. And that money goal could be something that happens every year, which is the people that you care about in your life, their birthdays and Christmas. Like, that is something that I did somewhat this year, but I'm gonna make sure that I do next year. I'm gonna allot that money to the side and make my budget bigger on that, because it happens every year. There are no excuses. All the people that you care about, their birthday doesn't change, and neither does Christmas. That's an example of a short-term goal. Another one is if you want to decorate a room in your house and you need to buy furniture. Couches are expensive, TV consoles are expensive, artwork is expensive. Let's say that's $1,000. Allot that divided by 12 and put that in your budget so that when it comes time to pay that bill, you have the money. You're not worried about it. Also, vacations is something short-term, especially if you do it once a year. That's something that I personally do, and it has saved me. I don't be stressing about vacation because I put some money towards it and I vacation based on my budget. But those are important because it's part of living a full life. And if we're managing it and we're intentional and we're planning for it, we don't go broke in the process. So those are all the buckets that I found helpful in managing my paycheck. Now I want to shift and talk about the execution. There are really 2 things for execution. The first one is automatic withdrawals from your paycheck. Most people, I think nowadays, if you have a direct deposit from your employer to your bank, they give you options to put it into more than one bank account if needed to. But of the 2 topics that I talk about, there are 2 that can be automatically done, and that's your retirement. So your 401k, your IRA, your Roth IRA, and also your emergency savings. Like, emergency savings can be done too, even if it has to be in a separate bank account. If you can't control it, that can all be done with your employer to make sure that is done automatically every week or every other week if you get paid 2 times in a month, to make sure that that is taken care of and it's set and done. And the second thing that helps us execute the buckets that I just talked about in this video earlier is that we want to make sure that we're putting everything in a budget. And budget can be a scary word for people, but that's where the bulk of all this planning is going to come from. We sit down and look, if we're getting paid $1,000, what are my bills? What are the things that have to get done every month? And what are the things that I want to manage and I have planned for? How do I incorporate that into my budget? Even if it doesn't work out in the first month, 6 months, a year, you make a plan then to see, okay, I can't afford all these buckets that I have, or even a remix on the buckets that I've mentioned. I need to get there. Maybe that means picking up extra shifts at work. Maybe that means getting a side hustle. It's probably going to mean finding a way to make extra money. And there is a way. I know they may not be ways we want to, but there is a way to make an extra $100, $200 a month. Like I said, it does take practice. It's not always going to be easy in the beginning, but like with anything, if you put your head down and decide that you're going to be bad at it for a little bit, for a few months or maybe a year and a half, you'd rather go through it being bad at it until you get better, because after a while, if you continue that process, you're going to look up a year, 2, 3 years later, and you're going to see that, oh, I'm in a lot better of a financial situation than I was before because I had the plan and I executed the plan. Life will happen. Sometimes you'll make more money, sometimes you'll make less money, but this type of managing your money and your paycheck every week or every 2 weeks helps protect you against the highs and lows of your finances. Because when you're in those years where you're making all that money, it's easier. But when you're in those years where it's leaner and you're not making as much money, you have the systems in place in your brain that tells you, okay, I need to have a plan for this, and I have money for living life, money for the worst case scenario, and money for tomorrow. as in my future and my retirement. So yeah, guys, let me know what you think about the things that I suggested, like the different buckets you put your money into, and which ones that you don't agree with, and also if there's something that I missed that you think is a good idea, let me know, because I might want to incorporate it in how I manage my money every paycheck. The whole point of this is to learn from each other, and I've been learning a lot from y'all. I really have, and I really appreciate y'all. Y'all have been teaching me so much, especially on my journey to getting this brokerage account healthy and filled with the right stuff. Y'all have been helping me a lot, so I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys next week.